Hi. I just decided to change a little bit of my view. 咁我諗住換下呢個環境啦，咁樣樣。So this is on the balcony of my Airbnb. 咁呢度咧就係我住緊嗰個 Airbnb 個露台啦。And you can see like very far behind me is the Caribbean Sea. 咁喺個遠處咧，身後就係呢個加勒比海。There's these beaches along the Caribbean and it's really gorgeous. 咁沿住呢個加勒比海都係一堆海灘，咁我就日日都喺嗰度行啦咁。So I have been walking along the Caribbean and like this coastal beaches like almost every day now. 咁我應該每日都幾乎係啦，日日我都有落去行啦，咁就一路沿住呢個海岸咧，就係可以去到呢個舊城啦。And I will get into the old town and also to the commercial districts and everything. 咁基本上沿住一路行過去就會可以去到舊城區啦，去到商業區啦咁樣樣。It takes about like 35 to 45 minutes to get to the old town. 咁大概係35至45分鐘就可以去到舊城區啦。And then an hour 15 minutes all the way to the commercial district. 咁然後大概一個鐘頭15分鐘咧就會行到去即係商業區咁樣樣啦。That's what I did this morning. 咁我今朝就係即係做咗呢件事啦咁。So there's this like the issues about the mobile phone here. 咁因為喺呢度咧用手提電話係有啲嘢要搞嘅咁樣樣。So it took so much time 度，係搞咗好耐啦咁。But I'm fine now 咁，但係即係而家冇問題啦，搞掂晒啦咁樣樣。So just in case you plan to come to Colombia， 咁如果你諗住要嚟哥倫比亞玩嘅話咧，it's recommended that you do not just buy any SIM card and put it in your phone。咁其實咧係極度建議大家就唔好隨便即係喺街就咁買張 SIM 卡抌入去啦咁。Because like under the law here in Colombia，all phone cards have to be registered together with your name and also with your device。咁呢一度你用任何卡咧都要登記你個名啦，咁同埋係要登記埋你嗰個電話嗰個機嘅咁樣樣。So I knew this already， 我其實係知道嘅咁，but I walk into this shop which have like this huge name of the service provider, so I thought it was the shop of the service provider。咁但係我去咗呢個鋪頭買卡咧，嗰個鋪頭係真係就係個大招牌就係嗰個網絡供應商啦咁。But ended up it wasn't。咁但係原來其實佢唔係嘅咁。And when I got into like the service center, because like the girl told me that I have to go to the service center。咁因為我買完張卡，佢就叫我要去呢個客服嗰度去即係服務中心嗰度搞翻嗰個登記啦咁。And then the person in the service center told me that I can't register that card. I have to like get a whole new package and everything. 咁但係去到之後，佢就話俾我知咧，原來嗰張卡咧其實係唔可以登記嘅，我又要另外再買過另一張卡，諸如此類咁樣啦。So anyway, I walk like an hour and a half to get there。咁我今朝早行個半鐘行到去嗰度啦 ，and then it took like almost 2 hours to get everything done。咁然後咧搞手續搞咗差唔多2個鐘啦咁。So And then I took some time just walk around in the Mural district。咁我就喺其中有一個區就好多啲壁畫啊，好多啲街頭嘅壁畫嘅一個區度行咗一陣啦咁。And then I walk all the way back here， 跟住我又再行翻嚟啦咁。So it's the entire day already， 咁就一日㗎啦咁樣。So it's quite a nice thing to do actually。咁其實都係即係正嘅，可以行下咁。But now I'm really tired，my feet are tired。咁到而家就好攰啦咁。And I didn't swim this morning。咁我今朝又冇游水啦 ，because I had this online workshop this morning that I had to do。咁因為今朝早其實係要即係教班嗰度係網上面佢哋即係今朝佢哋有表演啦，咁我就要上網睇，然後即係之後同佢哋做檢討啊咁樣樣。So anyway, it's now it's all done and I'm relaxed at home and I also bought myself like a icicle just to like release the heat。咁我翻到嚟而家就攤頭啦，咁然後又買咗雪條食啦，所以好開心啦咁。And so we can do the reading now。咁我哋就可以讀書啦。Read to resist Day 192。當閱讀也是抗爭第192日。A Concise History of Hong Kong by John Mark Carroll。香港簡史。從殖民地到特別行政區，著者高馬可，譯者林立偉。The Taiping Rebellion and Chinese Emigration。 Not only did many Chinese show their affiliation with Hong Kong by disobeying orders from Canton to return to China during the Second Opium War. Sorry, let's start all over again. The Taiping Rebellion and Chinese emigration. Not only did many Chinese show their affiliation with Hong Kong by disobeying orders from Canton to return to China during the Second Opium War, but the local Chinese population also greatly expanded during this period. And even though racial antagonisms and mutual suspicions between the Chinese and European populations increased during the war, the expansion of the Chinese community would eventually help make Hong Kong a major trading center. This expansion occurred not because of the colonial government's attempt to attract wealthier Chinese to Hong Kong, but because of the combination of Chinese domestic turmoil and the worldwide rise of Western capitalism and imperialism, which encouraged Chinese emigration in two ways. 太平天國起義與中國人移民出洋。第二次鴉片戰爭期間，許多香港華人沒聽從廣州政府的命令返回中國，由此可見，他們與香港的聯繫深厚。香港華人人口更在這個時期大幅上升。此外，即使戰爭期間，華洋之間的種族對立惡化，彼此猜疑加深，但華人社群的擴大，最終令香港成為重要貿易中心。華人社群擴大的原因，不是殖民地政府吸引富有華人來香港的措施湊效，而是因為內地局勢動盪，以及西方資本主義和帝國主義在全世界崛起，這兩種因素共同促使中國人移民海外。The opening of Canton and other treaty ports by the Treaty of Nanking disrupted local economies. Imports such as British cotton now competed with Chinese products in the markets of Canton, while Chinese junks lost out to larger, faster foreign vessels. By the late 1840s and early 1850s, Canton has lost its hold on both tea and silk trades, causing unemployment throughout Guangdong. Almost simultaneously, the abandonment of slavery by England, France, and some parts of the United States encouraged the demand for cheap forced labor in Canada, the United States, Australia, New Zealand, and the West and East Indies. In 1849, after gold was discovered in California, the first shipload of Chinese laborers came through Hong Kong en route to the United States. By December 1850, 2,000 Chinese had left China for California. Between January and June 1850, some 10,000 tons of shipping were loaded or partly loaded in Hong Kong and shipped to the western coast of the United States. With this growth of overseas trade, also came new Chinese labor and talent. In 1850, Governor Bonham reported an increase in Chinese population, mainly artisans from Canton working in the California trade. 3 years later, he noted that the colony's commercial prospects are slowly but certainly extending and assuming a character of greater permanency. 南京條約開放廣州和其他條約口岸，破壞了本地經濟。現在，如英國棉製品等進口貨在廣州市場與中國貨競爭，中國帆船則輸給更大更快的外國船舶。到了1840年代末和1850年代初，廣州喪失茶葉和生絲貿易方面的優勢，導致廣東省有大量失業人口。幾乎在同一時間，由於英國、法國和美國部分地區廢除奴隸制，令加拿大、美國、澳洲、新西蘭以及西印度和東印度群島對廉價苦工需求恐殷。美國加州發現黃金後，1849年第一批華工乘船經香港前往美國，及至1850年12月，已有2000名中國人離開中國遠赴加州。在1850年1月至6月間，讓1萬噸貨物在香港裝船，或部分在香港裝船，運往美國西岸。出現這種海外貿易的增長後，中國勞動力和人才生力軍也隨之來到香港。港督文咸在1850年報告，華人人口有所增加，他們主要是從事加州貿易的廣東工匠。3年後，他注意到殖民地的商業前景正在緩慢而確實地擴展，其性質也更為持久。 So this is the reading of today. 咁今日就讀到呢度啦。Now it talk about like the first sort of like labor migration, like like worker migration into the west coast of the US, namely the California because of the gold. 咁呢度就開始就講到呢個舊金山嘅事情啦，就係即係因為加州發現金啦，咁就係第一次就係中國人就係去到呢個加州呢一度咧，就係做呢一個嘅苦工啦咁樣樣。Now we haven't read like further apart， 咁我哋仲未讀落去啦咁樣。I would wonder if the book would talk about like this human trafficking issues as well because of this demand of labourers to work in these gold mines。咁我都會好想知道，即係譬如佢呢一度會唔會提到，因為呢一個即係金礦要人嘅時候咧，到底即係佢哋有冇會記錄翻，就係當時因為呢個情況，好多人俾人賣豬仔咧咁樣樣。My very brief stay in the States， 咁我喺美國即係好短時間啦，啱啱嗰2個月咁樣樣。And there were some discussions about the history, like of course like black history, slavery, the horrible things that happened to black people in the States。咁當然有即係同啲朋友去討論關於即係黑人佢哋即係嗰個歷史啦，喺美國佢哋嗰個即係非常之殘忍悲慘嘅一個即係黑奴嘅嗰個歷史啦咁。But you can see actually like around this time when they are beginning the abolition of slavery。咁但係你見到即係頭先歷史裏面講到，即係呢本書裏面講到就係黑奴嘅制度開始取消嘅時候咧。Now the West actually begin to look for new cheap labor and forced labor from China or from Asia。咁但係你就見到原來即係當時其實就係因為正係因為黑奴解放嘅原因咧，所以呢一啲歐洲人啦、美國人咧，佢哋先至再嚟到即係中國呢啲地方咧，就係去招攬呢一啲廉價勞工啊，或者即係甚至乎係即係揾賣佢哋豬仔啦咁樣樣。So this part, like I think not a lot of Americans would talk about or maybe not even know about this part of the history。我覺得好多美國人可能其實佢哋唔知道或者都唔會提呢一段歷史嘅。One of the things that I have heard during my stay in the States, which actually quite hurt， 咁我喺美國嘅時候聽到一句説話，其實即係都幾傷害我嘅咧，就係Asians in this country, meaning the States, like which is like this person was addressing me, like Asian in this country now is like white people。咁佢基本上佢就係話咧，佢話我啦嚇，即係作為一個亞洲人喺美國，其實就等於白人啦咁樣樣。So he's talking about privilege, he's talking about like this sort of like social status and whatever。咁佢係都講緊特權啊，講緊社會地位啊咁樣樣嘅嘢啦，咁樣樣。And yeah, it wasn't a very pleasant experience for me。咁對我嚟講唔係一個即係好唔係一個好舒服嘅一個經驗嚟嘅，其實咁樣樣。But like this is also exactly because of this part of the history that like I think that people do not want to listen or do not think it's important or as important as the other history in America。咁我覺得正就係因為其實大家即係特別係美國人啦，佢哋其實係冇乜興趣去睇呢一段嘅歷史啦，或者甚至乎其實佢哋係完全唔關心呢啲歷史啦咁樣樣。So yeah, it's a very complicated issues like to talk about race in the States right now。而家喺美國要去講即係種族嘅議題，其實係超級複雜啦 ，and it's a very delicate situation， 係即係好難搞嘅，好脆弱嘅其實。So but it's also exactly why we need to find a way to come together and talk about it。但係其實正因為咁咧，先至更加需要揾方法去講啦。Because for me, I think the most important thing is inclusion rather than more segregation。我覺得更加重要嘅就係真正嘅共融啦，而唔係即係分開你還你我還我啊，即係咁樣樣。I think there is like this very tricky kind of dance between this affirmation of self-identity as well as a balance of coming together and sharing resources and space and everything in general this world。我覺得即係其實係要揾到嗰個平衡點，就係即係喺自我嘅身份認同之下，點樣亦都係能夠同其他唔同嘅人能夠即係 有一個即係一齊分享呢個世界嘅資源，呢個世界嘅空間，呢個世界嘅所有嘢嘅一個重要嘅事情。Especially because of like climate change and everything, like there are more people would be displaced because of that。咁因為其實你而家知道咧，氣候變遷咧係會影響好多人係需要真係離開佢哋嘅屋企啦咁樣樣。Now when arriving in a new country or a new even though just a new city in their own country， 即係當你要離開你自己嘅家園啦，然後去另一個國家，甚至乎可能係同一個國家，但係只係去另一個城市都好啦。This sort of like otherness that is putting people like you know or comparing sort of like this sort of idea of who suffers more is actually not very helpful。咁即係我覺得即係呢一種即係去排外啊，或者即係可能係去斤斤計較，即係邊個慘啲啊？呢一種咁嘅情況其實唔幫到手啦，咁樣樣。So yeah, so this is what I would like to share today。咁我今日就係想分享呢樣嘢啦，咁 and hopefully we have more time to you know explore and talk about like different things like this。咁希望以後都多啲機會同大家即係探討或者討論多啲呢啲唔同嘅議題啦，咁樣樣。So I'll see you again tomorrow。咁你聽日咧繼續閱讀也是抗爭，拜拜。